Hi everyone, Jessica's 1991 here. Today I want to film a video on my birth story. For those that don't know, I did have baby already. He was born May 20th, 2015 at 17:28. So yeah, I want to share with you guys my story. He was 7 pounds, 3.4 ounces. So not too big, not too small, but it's a good size. My other two, my daughter was 7 pounds, 8 ounces. And then my son, my second oldest son was 8 pounds, 1 ounce. So my second son, or my first son I should say, way more than my second one. Because I have a girl, a boy, and then another boy. So, as you guys can see, I didn't, lose too much pound, but, I still have the belly, which is normal after having baby. But, little by little, you start working out and getting that tummy tucked back in. But, yeah, so to start off, this was my first birth that I had my water break. With my other two, I got induced, so I didn't get to have that experience that I wanted, which was to have my water break. So with this one, I was lucky enough for that to happen. It happened at 1:30 in the morning. I felt like I was wet. I was like, okay, it's too large for me to feel like it was pee, sorry for too much information, but I thought like that. I was just like, whoa, what's going on? Like I totally felt wet down there. So I ended up going to the bathroom, I checked and I was just like, okay, I think my water broke. I wasn't sure because again, it was my first time having my water break. So I ended up waking up my husband, telling him what happened. It didn't really like burst, it didn't break as much. I was just leaking, slowly leaking water. So I felt like it wasn't time for me to go to the hospital. So I remember talking to my husband in bed, and I told him, hey, I am leaking, but I feel like I don't need to go in just yet. And he said, okay, well, lay down, go to sleep, and then we'll see when you wake up. And I said, okay. So I ended up falling asleep, and then constantly I had to go to the bathroom. So I got up again at like 4:30ish, 4:20ish, to the bathroom again, and more water started coming out. So this time it was more of a leak that started falling, and I was just like, okay, what do I do now? But I didn't feel any contractions or anything. It was just leaking. So again, I didn't feel like I needed to go to the hospital just yet. But then I ended up, seeing if I needed to pack anything else that I was missing. And I obviously, had to pack like toothbrush and, makeup, things that I needed to put last minute stuff inside the bag. And I did that. And then I was debating if I should send my kids to school, but I ended up not sending my kids to school only because I didn't want to have my husband worry about picking them up, at school and me at the hospital. So I ended up calling my mother-in-law, who doesn't live that far from me, and she came to pick up the kids and watch them while my husband took me to the hospital. So we ended up going into the hospital like around 7:30ish in the morning. And once we got there, they told me, what's going on, and I told them that my water broke and that it's leaking, and they said, okay, you need to come in and we'll get you in a room. And I said, okay. So we ended up going into the room. They, did all the procedure, hooked me up to the IV, and I knew that, and like I knew I wasn't going to be able to eat, but I wasn't hungry that morning, and I just didn't want to have the hassle of me going to the bathroom, before labor. So I didn't eat, and I regret it because I should have ate before I went in, because then they don't let you have anything. Unlike these other hospitals that were on the base where my other two were born, because my husband was military, now he's retired. So this time I got the feel of, civilian hospital. Where was I going? Yeah, so the thing that they gave me was just ice chips. So I couldn't have anything. And on the military bases, at other times that I delivered, they let me have popsicles. You know, they let me have a flavored water type of thing, and I, you know, was satisfied with that. But with this time, nothing, because the doctor that I had was really picky, and she didn't let me have anything. So I was just like, wow, okay. So I had to sneak in chewing gum, and I had to, you know, ask for more ice chips because that's the only thing I can have. So in between that time, they checked my cervix, and I was only, I think, 2 centimeters open, which I wasn't that dilated. And they said, okay, your water broke at 1:30. It's already 7:30. You know, the doctor might want you to drink this pill. I don't remember the name of it, but it's supposed to thin out your cervix wall, just so that it can like push baby down, I guess, to make it easier on him. And I said, okay, yeah, I can do that. And with my other ones, I didn't have any medication. I didn't do epidural or anything like that. And again, with this birth, I didn't do an epidural as well. So with this birth, I felt like it was harder only because I did it on my own rather than my other ones, which I got induced, which, you know, pushed the process faster to get them out. So yeah, with this one, it was no medication, just that pill to thin out my wall. And if that didn't work, then the doctor was going to put me on the IV thing, but they were going to give me, what was the name of it? I can't think of what the name is, but they pretty much, you know, make the baby come out faster. So they give you this thing that goes in the IV. I really can't remember what it's called, but thank God they didn't give me that. Oh, Pitocin. Thank God they didn't give me Pitocin, you know, to speed up the process, and they let my body do the work. So as time went on, after they gave me that pill and I drank it, I ended up dilating 2 more centimeters, so I was at 4. And then they said, okay, your body's reacting well to it, so we're just gonna let your body do the work. And I said, okay, thank God. So I was sitting there, laying there. Obviously the contractions were getting stronger, and I remember I was, I think, 8 centimeters already open, and that's when like the freaking the contractions were worse. They were super long and they were really strong. I never felt that with my other ones. The other one, my 2, were strong, but they weren't as long as this one. So I was in pain, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna get no pain medicine. I can do it. I can do it. So the nurse helped me do the breathing right, and I was like, okay, that feels better. And then they told me to lay on my side, which helped me a little bit, but then the baby's heart stopped, and that's when all these nurses rushed in to get me the oxygen, to get me air so that baby can breathe. And they told me, okay, you can't lay on your side, you're gonna have to lay on your back. And I said, oh my God, what's going on? And they said, no, everything's fine, it's just the baby's heart dropped dramatically. And I was like, okay, and I'm breathing super hard. And then my husband's like, is everything okay? And they said, yeah, everything's fine. It's gonna be time for her to start pushing. And then I said, okay. So the doctor came in, and I was already 9 centimeters. And they said, you know, it's going to be time for you to push. And I said, okay. So, you know, I ended up starting to push, and, you know, I felt like it took forever. Sorry, the baby's here in the room with me. He's in here. He's sleeping. But I'll show you guys him in a little bit. But yeah, so I kept pushing and pushing, and it took forever for baby to come out, and I was just so exhausted, and I was like, you know, I can't do it no more. And they were like, you know, keep pushing, you're almost there. And I'm like, yeah, but in my mind, I'm like, it's taking forever. Like, what do you mean it's there? Like, it's not there. And so I kept pushing and pushing, and even though it was my 3rd child, like everyone says it's going to be easier because it's your 3rd, no, it was not easier. I felt like it was you know, easier than my 2nd, which was my son, but still harder. It wasn't as easy. So once my son came out, well, before my son came out, the doctor noticed that the umbilical cord was wrapped around his shoulder, which he did help turn the baby and, you know, help me push baby out safely, which I thought that was amazing because with my 2nd son, the umbilical cord was around his neck. and so every time I was pushing, he wasn't coming out. So I am glad that the doctor this time noticed that the umbilical cord was wrapped around his shoulder and got the baby in the right position to get him out safely. So that's good. So once baby came out, they weighed him, you know, obviously cleaned him, and they gave him to me, and I chose to breastfeed. And I'm glad that breastfeeding is going well, because with my other two, they didn't latch well, and with this one, he did latch really well. So I'm glad that I am breastfeeding. I am doing good. And for those moms who want to breastfeed, you know, I'm glad that you guys chose that. Not every mom can produce milk, I guess. Like I did with my other two, wasn't able to produce that much milk. But, you know, don't give up on it. I didn't give up. I kept trying, and this time I got it right. And so I'm so glad that baby finally latched. So yeah, I'm going off topic here. So yeah, baby was born at 17/28, and he weighed again 7 pounds, 3.8 ounces, almost 4 ounces, and he came out healthy, which is amazing. You know, I thank the Lord that he came out healthy and good, and you know, the whole family came over to visit, saw him in the hospital. My two other kids saw him too. My daughter was excited. My son obviously doesn't really know much because he is autistic, but he, you know, did see his brother. He still is a little, you know, sad that he's not the baby, but, you know, he's working on it. He likes his brother, which is amazing. So yeah, that concludes my story. If you guys had, you know, a different like complications, or, you know, if there's anything different that went on in your birth story, you know, feel free to comment down below, you know, share. I want to hear your guys' story. You know, maybe you guys want to do this tag too. You know, I tag the people that are watching. Maybe you guys can make your video, and then I can watch it, and you guys can share me your story. So yeah, so my son is in the car seat right now. So I'm gonna show you guys the baby. So here's the baby. He's in here. He's so tiny. He's sleeping. But yeah, I have him in the car seat for now. He likes to sleep in there. Makes it easier. And then this cart cover, I got it from the Canopy car seat that you can get promotion, like discounts, which is amazing because it makes it easier to cover baby, you know, on the go. So yeah, I have that on there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my birth story. You know, stay tuned for more videos. Have patience with me, guys, because I do have a newborn, so it makes it a lot harder for me to upload videos. But again, more are coming. So yeah.